Can't even see the hole.
Right. And some researchers out there claim that there's many different kinds of grays. And some names of these include the Zeta Reticulans, the Bellatrix grays, the Gray Type C, and more. But the ones that you hear about constantly are the tall and the shorter ones with big black eyes.
Wow.
Now, Zeta Reticuli 1 and 2 is a binary star system visible from the southern hemisphere, approximately 38 light years away. This star system consists of two stars, one slightly smaller than our own sun, in the Milky Way, and the other almost the same mass as our sun. Both stars are much older than our own sun at around 8 billion years old and dying, while our sun is in its middle age at 4.5 billion years old. This is the area that they told Betty Hill that they came from, was this area. And that does add a certain amount of believability to it, because if you're talking about an 8 billion year old dying star, then maybe, just maybe, you'd be looking around for some new real estate to move to. And sharing this planet with us pesky humans might not be the worst idea you ever had, if you can get us to behave, which is the hard part of dealing with humans.
That is no lie.
That is no lie whatsoever.
I have that problem with you guys all the time.
Yep. Don't worry, I'm not as bad as she's making me out to be.
What problems do you have with me?
We were talking about the Greys, weren't we?
We were. Now, as for birth, since you, in ways that they're born, since the Greys are almost never described as wearing anything, and are almost never described as having any sort of sexual organs whatsoever, they believe that if the Greys are real, they probably reproduce by cloning. Which could be where the gray skin thing comes from.
Well, sure.
Form clones to go to next destination, Earth.
Now, there are some alien researchers that have theorized that the Greys just aren't from outer space at all, and may simply be humans from the future that use time travel to visit, which could explain a lot if you think about it.
But that's what you just said you didn't believe.
I don't, but here's their argument, okay? Greys are humans with a larger head because the size of the brain has increased.
Okay.
The tall Greys, which are the ones they think are humans, have grown taller and thinner over time, just as humans have over time. Like, if you go through, we used to be shorter than we are. And you can follow us growing in the fossil record, or just chasing our past folks. You know, okay, you know, these people tended to be shorter, these people are a little larger, then you get to us. Fingers have become slender and longer because of less physical labor and more use with computer and robotics, so we've adapted to the environment we're in. They have larger, darker eyes from being exposed to sunlight remarkably less than we are normally used to, and the use of computing equipment. A smaller mouth from not needing to speak much because they use telepathy, and they've moved from eating meat to a smaller, more digestible food source. No ears for the similar reasons of not needing the use of hearing as much. And the skin of the aliens, and this is the one that just makes me grit my teeth every time I see it, is gray from the mixing of races on Earth, turning it into a plain gray mix. Now, people who believe the Greys are us, and I can buy all of that until you tell me that our skin is gray. And it comes from us blending the races.
Mm-hmm.
I don't buy that.
Yeah, no, I now that we're speaking about it again, yeah, I don't either.
Now, living on a dead world, or on a planet where the sun is dying, and you're not getting the sunlight that we get, that might do something for gray skin. The more I think about it, the more I think that they're probably from Zeta Reticuli. Now, when they are accused of abducting humans, the most common thing they are accused of doing, other than the anal probe, which is a joke. Let's be honest. It's a joke. It's a joke. It's a joke. I don't know anybody. I've never read of anybody who has been abducted who said anything about anal probes. Mm-hmm. But it turns up everywhere. Everywhere. Saturday Night Live, Kids in the Hall. Anal probes. If there's a joke about aliens, that's where it turns up. The movie Paul, which is definitely about a gray, he gets kind of mad about it.
Yep.
But the one thing they are accused of on a regular basis is taking sperm and or eggs.
That's true. I've heard that one a lot.
And it is believed it is because they are breeding humans or human hybrids as drones, as basically physical labor. Or, if they really are humans from the future, maybe something has gone horribly wrong with our reproductive process, and so they're harvesting from the past to take it to the future.
Right.
Whatever. We don't know.
No, we don't.
So then, where does that put us?
Well, that brings us to the world. Let's talk about grays and how prevalent they are.
All right.
In Australia, 50% of the alien abduction cases are attributed to the grays. Mm-hmm. The United States of America, 43% are attributed to the grays. Canada, 90%.
They're busy in Canada.
Brazil, 67%. Continental Europe, 20%. The United Kingdom, 12%.
Well then.
I think I don't know. Maybe they like hockey.
Maybe they do like hockey. That would explain why they focus on Canadians so much. And maybe they don't, I don't know, they don't like the British accent, but then why do they hang out with Australians? Because it's really close.
I don't know. Maybe they like Marmite.
I thought Marmite was British. I thought Vegemite was Australian.
Oh, Vegemite's the right one. That's right. You're so smart.
Vegemite.
Anyway.
Now, there are those who say that they collect our DNA because they are trying to repopulate their system with human stock. But again, that just doesn't make a lot of sense to me.
I mean, I can see where it doesn't make sense, but I can also see where it's making sense for some people because let's think of it this way. If I'm connecting it to the other people who got, shot or something, not shot, but, shots from the aliens, remember that one episode that we did about those two?
Mm-hmm.
That would make sense for some people because they're connecting it to the DNA that they need to repopulate the aliens. So I can see where it doesn't make sense, which I'm on your side. It doesn't completely make sense to me. But I can also see where some people think it makes sense.
Another name for the Greys is the Roswell Greys, because, again, these are what you saw. Now, there is a gentleman named Whitley Streiber who wrote a book called Communion. He's actually written several books. But these books are really a way for him to talk about he's been abducted, and he speaks with these creatures on a regular basis, if you believe him.
Okay. That's a big if.
But in Communion, the creatures he deals with most are the Greys. Now, in Travis Walton's Fire in the Sky story, when he was trapped on the ship, he saw Greys. So people who have been abducted see these things, and they see them regularly. So, but then there's also the theory that UFOs and USOs are not from other worlds, but other dimensions. And that's why they can pip off and just disappear the way they do.
Right.
And in fact, in Lake Baikal, in Russia, which is this very, very deep lake.
Okay.
At one point, a group of Russian soldiers are doing some sort of experiment in Lake Baikal or something. Anyway, they see what looks to be this alien craft enter the water and sink down. Well, they're going after it. Next thing they know, they're surrounded by these short humanoids, and the way they're described, these things could well be Greys. But if so, these were unusual in that they were described as being in something like some sort of environmental suit, like a wetsuit, but different.
Weird.
So, and yeah, nothing good happened to those Russian soldiers. Nothing good.
Well, that's one way to explain things. Nothing good. You don't want to know the rest. It's gruesome.
I wasn't planning on talking about this, but as I was looking through it, it leaped out at me. The point is, as I remember, as they were pulled out, they were just crammed full of radiation. They were suffering from the bends like they'd been a lot deeper than they were. I mean, they got roughly used.
Interesting.
So, yeah.
Whoa. What was that, a dog bark?
We don't know. You're the one who made the noise.
Gonna say Huffin' Puffin' Dragon Biscuits, but then I had nothing to say it about.
Well, just in general, people getting sick and beat up because they were trying to see what was going on is always a little unnerving.
Now,
yeah,
if you look at the movie Close Encounters of the Third Kind from 1977, those aliens are Greys.
Okay.
So, Greys are the aliens that you tend to see most in fiction.
Sure.
But at the same time, they're the ones that we see most when we talk about actual cases of abduction.
What do you do?
Well, honestly, if I saw a Grey, I would probably be paralyzed in fear. Like I said, something about the way they look just scares me to death.
It bothers you. Gotcha.
Yeah, me too.
It just makes my stomach go gibbet just looking at it. So, I don't know. I don't know. But I honestly believe that the Greys exist, but as for what they are, where they're from, I don't know for sure. Now, like I said, we talked about Betty and Barney Hill. And their star chart, they indicated where